Error means all systems failed. Good evening. It's Thursday, April 18th, 2024, 6 p.m. This is the City of Franklin Plan Commission meeting. Please take the roll, Mr. Martinez.
Mayor Nelson,
Here.
Commissioner Hogan,
Here.
Commissioner Shago,
Here.
Commissioner Haley,
Here.
City Engineer Morrow,
Here.
Alderwoman Day,
Here.
Commissioner Leon is excused.
Excellent. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So before we go on to item B, as in boy, I'd like to at this point in time make a recognition to one of our board members, Patty Hogan, and I would like to read this proclamation that's going to be presented to her with a nice fine wood plaque for her years of service, and I will read this first, and then I will make a few other comments, and we'd like to maybe ask if Patty wants to say something. Proclamation in respect and gratitude to Patricia J. Hogan for her public service as a Plan Commission member. Whereas Patricia Patty Hogan has spent an incredible amount of years in the service of the public, including her years and years of employment with Milwaukee County, her years of service as a City of Franklin alderperson, and her years of service as a City of Franklin Plan Commission member. Whereas Patty has informed Franklin government staff and officials that she will be completing her substantial years of service on the Plan Commission, and that last meeting, which shall include her attendance and participation, will be the Plan Commission meeting on April 18th, 2024. And whereas Patty was appointed as a member of the Plan Commission on May 20th, 2014, and has provided essentially a decade of the provision of her efforts and experience, knowledge, and intelligence to serve the public and the City of Franklin, being one of the fastest growing municipalities in the state of Wisconsin for decades, with her goal of always accomplishing what is the reasonable and the best, with the goal of high quality for the betterment of service to and life experience for all. Now, therefore, be proclaimed that I, John R. Nelson, Mayor of the City of Franklin, Wisconsin, on behalf of all the citizens of Franklin, hereby express our gratitude for the years of public service received upon the work of Patricia J. Hogan, and our wish to her for the best of the enjoyment of her life for her to experience from now and always forward. Presented to Patricia Hogan on this 18th day of April, 2024. Would you like to say any words?
Thank you very much for all your help that you've given me throughout the years. It's been great working with everybody. I feel very good on everything that I've done for the city, and I know it will keep growing in the years to come. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving forward to item B as in boy, approval of minutes. Is there a motion for approval of the regular meeting minutes of April 4th, 2024?
So moved.
Second.
A first and a second. No further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. We have no public hearings. D, citizen comment period. Citizens may comment upon the business matters set forth on this meeting agenda. Anyone wishing to step forward at this time, please state your name and address for the record and keep it to the 3 minutes as we mirror the normal council meetings. Good evening. Is that on?
Hello. I think it's on. Okay.
Now it is.
Kristen Wilhelm, 3851 West College Avenue. Hope I can keep it to 3, but I have a lot to cover. So one of the things I want to cover is you asked me to be on the UDO task force. So I've been looking at some of the processes over the years. I think the process needs a review on how you update your ordinances, both legally and legislatively, or nothing will change. So, and I want to point out why I'm saying that. In August of 2010, Plan Commission had a recommendation to make changes for administrative review to allow it, an easier process. That came to council on September 7th, 2010, and it was Alderman Taylor who made the motion to adopt an ordinance 2010-2022 to creating a section in the ordinance of 15-7.0107 minor site plan amendment. If you go to the UDO, that is not mentioned in there, and the UDO was updated in May 18th of 2010. So it would have been a very simple process to put in this new revision that came shortly after that. Then on August 2nd, 2011, item G6, it came before the council again because I saw things that were being passed that I thought were inappropriate for to leave out the council and the plan commission. So there was an ordinance to amend section 7.0107, which should have been an amendment to the previous ordinance that created that section. So that did not also get included in your municipal code. And you go online and there are no footnotes for any of that. Part of the problems I have with that meeting on August 2nd, 2011, item G6, and I'm giving this information for anybody who wants to look this up and put these on the record. There was a motion to approve this ordinance, which should have been an amendment.
I'm going to ask, hold on, Alderman. Could we make a motion to suspend the rules so that you can continue? Because she's also part, and I'm saying that because she's part of the rewrite group, so if somebody's willing to make a motion to suspend the rules to let her speak longer.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
First and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you. This is an important point. So on at that council meeting, there was an ordinance that was put in there for the council to adopt. The council did not adopt that ordinance. The council adopted a modified version of that based on my motion and based on planning staff's July 21st, 2021 recommendation. My motion states, Alderman at that time, we didn't recognize women, move to adopt the ordinance 2011-2053, an ordinance to amend the Unified Development Ordinance at section 15-7.0107 pertaining to minor site plan amendments with the addition of staff receiving input from pertinent public officials as further defined in the Planning Department staff recommendation dated July 12th, 2011 on page 2, seconded by Alderman Olson. Motion carried. In that page 2, it lists several bullet points. And underneath that, it says, staff would like to also note, it is understood that should any concerns or questions arise from a proposed minor site plan amendment input and guidance should be obtained from the pertinent public officials and city staff. I made that specifically to get in the ordinance. That is not in your ordinance online, and there is no amendment, there are no notes for that to be included in there. I wouldn't specifically say that in my motion if that's not what I wanted. However, there is a new ordinance that came out after that motion was made, and that language was included, but instead of including it so it got into the code, it was put into the whereas section, which basically has no teeth, which was clearly not the intent of the council or my motion when I made that motion. It also says very specifically the points on when planning staff can do their administrative review, and it has to be inconsistent with an approved site plan. If you don't have a site plan, it's pretty hard to be consistent or inconsistent with a site plan. That will come up in just a second. So during that time, and this is still out there, minor site plan amendment application was online. That is dated 2015. You can find the file to that application as 2015 minor site plan amendment. Kind of follows along. But if you find the Unified Development Ordinance, you won't see any of those. Then in 2021, all of a sudden, administrative review application changed your minor site plan. Not based on what the council made, not based on the ordinance, based on some new application with the new logo on it, which didn't come out until 2019. And it doesn't include the things that the other site plan has. This is now became a $75 review process. I'm sure it costs the city more than that. This change and this whole code is in violation of the administrative policies and procedures, where the city departments are required and the aldermen, boards, and commissions are encouraged to notify aldermen whose district includes the subject development upon learning development proposal or a permit request. So I have all of these ordinances for you. And why does this come up now? You need a good process. You need a tracking process. You need someone to legally find out if what the council says gets in those ordinances, gets in the ordinance that's actually signed by your mayor, because clearly that was not the case here. That ordinance does not follow my motion or the intent or the council's intent. Neither does this new application for administrative review follow any of that. The council and the plan commission are being taken out of the system, which I don't think is what state law intends as well. So I'm going to take you further to concept review in the plan before the council. The applicant during that council meeting said, we've been working on this for 2 years. In 2021, an application came into the department, not sure which one, but both the planning department of city development and the assistant city engineer sent comments to the applicant saying, has coordination with the City of Franklin Planning Department been completed? The other one is the Planning Department received no electronic submittal for this application or any supporting document other than paper plans. I won't go on to name the project. And the response from the applicant was, this application for a minor site plan amendment was submitted at the direction and consultation of the City of Franklin staff. So it wasn't the engineering staff assistant, and it wasn't the Department of Development. So who was the city staff, and why was this bypassed? So I'm hoping that you can come up with a better process. I did look at your new ordinance. Now it says you get administrative review for 1,000 square feet. That's 2.3 acres, which is a pretty big change to a site. And you can fit over the population of Franklin inside of that area. It's 2.3 acres. According to a little Google search, 44,444 people can fit into that area. I think all of those people would like a say, including my residents. When this happened, who I was told, it's none of your business when I asked for the information on that. So please make sure you're allowing these processes to happen through the process, in the public process, and not downstairs by some administrative person who no one knows who it is. Thanks. And I'll give you copies. I look forward to more review process.
Thank you. I would probably like to keep this open as it is for now. Good evening and welcome, opposed to us going back in and back out.
Okay. Dana Gint, 9011 West Hawthorne Lane. Thank you for letting me speak. I am also on the ordinance task force. I appreciate that. I totally agree with former Alderwoman Wilhelm's comments. I have found numerous instances of motions being made, and that's not what's typed up in the minutes. I've also found administrative approval and correspondence with developers and administrative approval. For example, the berm at the Rock. Let's just use that as an example. There was a site plan amendment that there was no, I think it's called a soil disturbance permit run. And we were notifying the city of Franklin that the soil was being piled to it was taller than Bob Knoll's house from 2020 to 2022. And nothing was done about it. I don't understand how some of these things happen at the city. And I was looking through the PDD, the proposed PDD information in the UDO, and it talks about the intent and purpose of a planned development district. And it says to encourage a higher level of design. So that's not saying that you get to avoid following the laws and to create a nuisance. But I think that needs to be clearer in here because obviously this has been an issue. It does say the burden of providing evidence and the persuasion that the planning development is necessary falls on the developer. So that's good. And that it says it needs to be compatible with the surrounding development, which is also good. But it's not very strong that needs to be very clear that the standards of review need to be completely compatible with the adjacent uses, that all mitigation needs to be done. It does say standards of review need to be to follow the intent of the district. Well, the planned development district for the Rock Sports Complex literally says that the sound and light system proposed at the development will be the highest standard. I don't remember word for word, but it says to mitigate all adverse impacts upon the surrounding development. Obviously, there's 1,000 complaints regarding the noise at the Rock, so that was not taken care of. And noise is a nuisance, and it's against the law. There's Harvard Journal articles that says noise pollution is more than a nuisance, it's a health risk. It says the growing danger of health and welfare is a noise pollution. Noise ranks second only to air pollution, and the environmental exposure are harmful to public health. So I think a lot of these need to be addressed in the new PDD. And I totally agree that there are many references. Just in my brief review of looking through ordinances and researching things, there's numerous times that it's clear to me that ordinances are revised and there's no footnote, like when it was revised, where's the resolution number. There's no information whatsoever. For a person like me to try and investigate this, I've literally spent hours going through every agenda item. And it's very concerning to me that the Planning Commission does not have the Planning Commission packet on any of its agendas. So there's motions that are made, or there's minutes, and there's audios that's missing from Planning Commission, by the way. So you can see in the minutes that they approve what was presented at the Planning Commission, but there's no packet. And then sometimes what you approve at the Planning Commission, whatever you do administratively or whatever, it doesn't go to the Common Council. So there's no information whatsoever for the public. And I think that is a huge disservice to the public, and not only that, elected officials, that why can't we see this information that you proposed at Planning Commission? Why is it not a public document? Why can't I see what you guys are talking about, whether it's a UDO or a site plan or whatever? Why is that a secret? It just seems that there's too much secrecy going on regarding reviewing a lot of these projects. So those are my comments, and I hope that the UDO is much better and that things are tracked better. So thank you.
And to address one of your comments, I am 100% on board with, the transparency component, because it's our community. I mean, there should be, I understand when we're negotiating for some things that we had, but this is a plan and how we set forth our guidance for the future, and it has to be out front. It has to be, because if you don't know what's going on, you're going to have that feeling that there is something aloof.
Right.
And, and that's one of the things that was my motivator, and I'm really hoping that we're making strides to address that, Dana.
Right. For example, the site plan amendment for the berm, that was all approved by the Planning Commission. The whole design of the berm, the number of landscaping, all that stuff was approved in 2018. Obviously, that has been, the berm is removed for half the houses there, and the trees are dead and things like that. So that was done administratively. So something that impacts so many people's lives, and obviously that was supposed to help a little bit with the noise. Clearly it does not, because it would need to be 30 feet tall to be appropriate to block the noise at this point. But that's obviously very impactful, that things are being done administratively with no public input, with no elected officials. We elected you to support what we want. And if the elected officials don't know it, and if there's no public comment, how can there be any improvement with what's going on? So those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Dana. Of course you can.
This is Kristen Wilhelm. One of the things that I'm asking you to do as soon as possible is you should be going back to the minor site plan amendment application instead of this administrative review application that appeared in 2021, right before this project got kind of shoved through. I don't know who gave approval for this or how it came about, but, and then the application fees of $75 for all the work that I know went into this project. I just don't think that that is how the ordinance was meant. And I really hope that someone will look into that application and that whole process.
Thank you, Alderwoman. Motion to go back in regular order?
Motion to return to the normal order of business?
Second.
First and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Back in normal order. Let's see here. We close citizen comment period, going on to E as in Edward, business matters, the UDO rewrite, project schedule, and upcoming task force workshops. Who will be speaking on this? Mr. Martinez, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Regulo Martinez, Principal Planner with the Department of City Development. Staff is pleased to inform you that we will be resuming the project for the rewrite of the Unified Development Ordinance. Is now advancing to step 5. That means that all the articles for the new UDO are in draft form. All the articles and the zoning map are available in the city's website. If you go to the planning department, there is a link for a specific site only for the UDO rewrite. And also, the Common Council approved budget amendment to allow for an additional work that you will see in the project schedule that is in your packet. So these additional works includes, for example, revisions to the city's noise regulations, also a guide for mitigation that is not in the current Unified Development Ordinance, and also additional outreach activities such as focus group that we have 2 participants here. The focus group will be conducted in May, and also an online story map so we can have input from the public with regards to the proposed zoning map. The outstanding activities kind of to complete the UDO will require 4 task force meetings with the Plan Commission and the additional members that are in the task force, like 2 members of Environmental Commission, for example. So you will see in the memo in your packet the proposed dates. This is the dates proposed by staff and the consultant and kind of the topic. So we will start with a high-level introduction of the proposed draft. And we will present also the feedback that we received previously from the task force that's incorporated into the UDO draft, and then will be presented again for your additional feedback. Then we will continue in June 20th for natural resource protection and noise regulations. That will be after the focus group that will happen in May. Then on August 8th, we'll be kind of revisiting the zoning map. The zoning map was previously presented to the task force, but there were some revisions made, so it's going to be reviewed again. And for September 19, the administrative standards and procedures. This is also related to what former Alderwoman Kristen talked about. So the goal tonight is kind of to present this timeline for the consideration of the Plan Commission, and also staff is suggesting to hold these workshops at 5 p.m. so we avoid conflict with other development applications, and also to be mindful of consultants' time if we have a packed agenda, so then the consultants will need to wait to present the workshop. That will be not a useful, not a good time, not a good use of the consultant's time. I have also additional comments that I may address, the comments from the public, if
Please.
you wish. Yeah, okay. So going back to, okay. I will follow up on the ordinances that Kristen Wilhelm mentioned that are not in the UDO online version. For the minor site plan amendment, in 2021, a new application was kind of adopted by staff under the direction of the planning manager, but that new forms was only like kind of the format of the form, so it was not changing the submittal requirements. For example, the fee is the same fee. And the submittal requirements, for example, for a site plan, that's established in the ordinance. That is not being changed with a new application form, just to clarify on that. And with the previous application, it was also an administrative process for a staff review. That didn't change with the new application. The fees didn't change. Okay. Okay. With regards to the berm in the rock, that requires a site plan amendment that was presented to the Plan Commission. It was tabled, and we have recent meetings with engineering, the operator, and the operator is supposed to bring plans, and those plans will be presented to the Plan Commission. Site plan amendments requires approval of the Plan Commission. Just to
Yeah.
clarify,
That comment too.
oh yeah, so,
Tuesday night, I was notified by the applicant that the neighborhood meeting has been set for next week, and apparently it's being somewhere out in your neighborhood, the Hawthorne neighborhood. So we are expecting a resubmittal by the middle of May, and that'll go around for routing for discussion.
Do we know a date for sure? Yeah, go ahead, just,
Sure, Dana Gint, 9011 West Hawthorne Lane. I have spoke with several of the neighbors that their backyard backs up to this, and the vast majority of them want to wait until there's actually noise being produced from events at the Rock, because they don't want to discuss what they think needs to be done with the berm until we find out what the problem is still going to be going on. So I've been I did speak with Mr. Atkins and explain that that's what they want to do. So I know he wants to have some feedback, but no one's comfortable giving feedback until we have more information, because obviously the impact of the noise is one of the primary focuses in addition to the aesthetics of the berm. So I don't know, he said that, Mr. Atkins said that he wanted to get things moving, but I'm just telling you what the neighbors are expressing. And obviously it impacts, drainage and things like that. So I just didn't want to, I don't know if there was a set date that you guys needed. I'm just giving you the feedback from our neighborhood.
So I just wanted to dispel the thinking out there. The staff has been sitting on this. So we've been numerous emails, correspondences, verbal conversations, trying to get them to move forward. And we just basically said, enough's enough, quit trying to delay this. We need to have something done. And I set a deadline of May 15th to submit something for Plan Commission to reconsider. As Mr. Martinez says, there was a submittal over a year ago now. I don't remember the date.
Right.
But, and Plan Commission said, no, we don't like it. So.
Correct. And you also asked, the planning commissioners here asked for the applicant to return as part of his presentation, and that was never put in the minutes either.
That's why I set a date of May 15th.
Yes.
Quit dragging your feet. Let's get in
Right.
here and get this thing settled.
Right. And I'm just expressing the concerns of the neighbors, because obviously the first event starts the 10th. So I don't want, I don't want the Rock to feel like they're being held, up, because the neighbors, they want to find out what the problem is going to continue to be. I'm sure you understand that that's their point of view, because we've been waiting for, the berm disappeared years ago. So
Mr. City Attorney, can you?
Just a reminder to the commissioners, subject matter brought up with citizen comment. It's not on the agenda. And board and commission members are not supposed to go into any detail when something's not on the agenda.
Okay, I was just,
Fair.
it was
problem.
part of the minor site
No
plan
problem.
amendment thing.
Thank you. All right, we're moving on now, not moving on now?
I needed to address one of the comments that were made regarding the administrative review application. It is different because I have them both here. One of them says 7 plans, the other one says 3. So there is some differences and changes to this that I know that the council didn't weigh in on that process. But I'm not sure that staff can do the research on the ordinance I talked about because I'm doing it from memory, that I remember what happened. And if you cannot find in the municipal code that there's an ordinance and the section in there is not there, you can't make an application based on an ordinance that doesn't contain the language that the plan or the council adopted.
I have an idea on that, but I'm not going to discuss it right now, but it'll be addressed with
Okay.
Madam Director of Administration tomorrow. Thank you. Continue, Mr. Martinez.
Okay, thank you. Just to clarify that this project is for a new Unified Development Ordinance, will not create a new PDD. For example, PDD will remain as Plan Development Legacy with the new UDO. Also to clarify that the Plan Commission meeting packets are available online.
No. No, just keep going. Right now, we're not going to do the back
Yeah,
and forth.
okay.
They can communicate
Okay.
offline or tomorrow, but we want to keep rolling here.
Yeah, and that's all I have to address citizen comments. If I apologize if I miss anything. So, thank you.
Members of the commission? Alderwoman Day?
Just one question, Mr. Martinez. For the workshops that are proposed here, would those also be open to the public, or would those be the workshop only, and then the Plan Commission meeting would start at 6, and that would be open to the public?
Both the workshop, the Plan
Okay.
Commission are open.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make that clear. Thank you.
Absolutely, 100%. Any other comments or questions on this? Mr. Haley?
Maybe we could just get a simple summary of how we plan on moving forward with this. This is all great, but how is this going to work in terms of how we review and get our comments in? We've had several meetings on this. We've gone through some stuff in great detail, some in very little detail. We've just sort of given concepts that we want to see worked in and really haven't seen much since. I mean, ultimately, I would hope, and don't strike me down, but to look at the document in red line strikeout in track changes format. Having, worked with it for so many years, the only way to see what's changed, I mean, either you come back with this beautiful document that's got it all covered, or we need to somehow decide how the new one differs from the old one.
Yeah.
And I've got copious notes that I took given previous drafts from the consultant that we never really discussed. Some are just, grammatical and things like that. So I'm just sort of wondering, I see this laid out on paper, but at what point do we get something else to react to?
Okay. Yeah, we have a meeting tomorrow with the consultant, so we'll let them know that would be helpful to have Word documents with track changes available for the Plan Commissioners. Yeah.
The ability to PDF document, like a document that would
Yeah.
comparing the two. Writing.
I'm looking to make it simple on me. It's a formidable document. I've already
It's
read it
huge.
at least once.
Huge.
And just want to make sure that we get it right. I mean, that was the whole plan, and I think we're going in the right direction, but let's find some way that we can give you meaningful input so that when we get down to the final stages of adopting all of this, we're not going back down the path.
Agreed. Any other commissioner, anybody? Mr. City Attorney? Thank you.
Just that during this process, and it's been a while since I've touched it. But in terms of redlining, there are substantial changes.
Oh,
And I don't know
huge.
that red line is available.
No, but it could be, this entire paragraph stricken, see section 349, where it is. How else
I
do we
get
even know
it,
what the
but-
changes are?
You know, it's section, this is going, and it's going over here, and that is all gone, and it's 5 pages are now over here. There was a lot of that involved. So,
So what becomes the best way to manage that?
work. Get it right. Whatever it takes.
I think to have it list out everything.
And maybe we do that at the level where it's nearing adoption. I mean, I'm perfectly good with working the way we have been, but at some point, with having more than a week or so to look at it, I'd like to be able to see the entire document and how it stands.
Because you're on the committee, that's why we're allowing this to keep
Right.
going. So, and thanks for your time on this too, Chris.
Mayor, one of the things that I was thinking about when I was trying to figure out how to do that without a red line was, I thought, well, I'll just take this ordinance that I'm familiar with for the last 24 years, and I will go through it and find out everything that I think is important to leave in and see if it's still there. So you could take your existing ordinance and the things that you like about the document, things you don't want to see taken out, and make sure that they're in there. Because I have some concerns about some things that are being removed that I think should maintain.
Okay,
So,
that makes sense. All right, any other further discussion on this? See none at this time, we'll move on to F as in Frank, the adjournment. What?
Their request by staff.
Yeah, there is a,
Missing
Will
something?
the UDO rewrite workshops for the dates presented by staff and to hold such workshops at 5 p.m.
So, do we need a motion on it? Okay. I mean, I thought it was already good. All right, is there a motion on this?
So moved.
Second.
First and second for discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you.
Motion
Agree
to
with you.
adjourn.
I was gonna, I was gonna
I'm
ask.
doing it the last time.
Absolutely. I was gonna ask if Commissioner Hogan would please do the motion. Could you please ask that, the motion, would you make that motion
You don't have
again?
to ask me.
I'll second it.
We have a first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. We are off record at 6:36 PM.